Ladies and gentlemen, these are all the unreleased vehicles still coming in the GTA Online Los Santos Drug Wars DLC. We're starting off with the Tahoma, which is a muscle car, which is a little bit on the slidey side. It doesn't seem to have a whole lot of grip and doesn't seem to be super quick either. I don't think this is going to be a contender for the top of the class. It comes in at a cool $1.5 million, so if this is a car you would like to get for the performance, maybe wait to see how good it actually is when it releases.
Watch out, fool! Not the car!
Next up though, we have the Hotring Everon, coming in at a cool $1.8 million for the buy now price and $1.3 million for the trade price, which apparently you can get by doing some hot ring races, which should be interesting. Regardless, the car itself only has livery customization options, but it looks and sounds very cool in my opinion. Next up is the Power Surge, the very first GTA Online electric bike. It is an interesting bike for sure. It comes in at a cool $1.6 million, and while the customization on it isn't too incredible, the performance on this thing should be very interesting. Obviously, because it's electric, it's super quick on acceleration, but the grip definitely makes up for it too. Typically, electric vehicles are a little bit on the slidier side, especially because of how fast you're accelerating through those corners, but it seems to handle it quite well. Another interesting thing too, it seems to have that same back wheel type of issue that the Reefer and the Gargoyle have if you do a certain wheel on it, so this should possibly mean that the top speed of this thing has some potential too. Definitely one to look out for. The Tundra Panther, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, comes in at a cool $2.17 million, and the car itself is pretty grippy, has some pretty good acceleration by the looks of things, and generally speaking seems to be a pretty decently handling car. If it's going to be a top contender for the sports class, I'm not entirely sure, especially considering the fact that I believe at this point we have over 100 sports cars and they pretty much feel very similar quite often, so it's kind of hard to tell at this point. Regardless, I wouldn't be surprised if this is going to be like, you know, the bottom half, maybe like an A tier type of sports car, but yeah, we have plenty of those already, which is, you know, obviously fine. Yes, indeed, there's also a livery on there for those F1 fans out there that want to make the car look like it's part of Alpine, or however you say it.
That's dumb luck right there.
Next up we have the Eudora, coming in at a cool price of $1.25 million. Now, the moment I saw this car, I started to question every single vehicle that is being released with this DLC, because I saw this and I thought, GTA 6. This car is straight out of Vice City. You cannot convince me anything else that these vehicles are not being backported from GTA 6 to GTA 5 with some changes so they actually work. I know this is very much tinfoil hat stuff, but look at this car, the Tahoma Coupe, the Hotring Everon, the Issi Rally, the Boor. All of those cars that you're looking at or going to look at in this video give me such Vice City vibes. And I know this is a lot of wishful thinking and stuff, but especially if you look at other vehicles, maybe you'll see the same thing. The performance of this vehicle, as you might expect, is very slow, it's understeery, it also has a little bit of snap oversteer here and there. Not really one to get for the race performance, but you know, if you're wanting to get a bit of a taste of GTA 6, this car might actually be it. Next up is the Karin Boor, which is funny if you're a Dutch person, considering the fact that Boor translates to drill in English. You know, there's your fun fact of the day. Coming in at a cool $1.28 million, this will be a vehicle that you probably don't want to use off-road. It has a traction loss of 0.85, which in English means that the closer you are to 1, the worse it is off-road. So maybe not use this one off-road. On the road though, it's pretty fine. Acceleration is pretty decent. The grip seems to be alright too, so I don't particularly think it's going to be too amazing, but it might have a pretty decent chance against maybe something like a Sultan Classic or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. Next up, another kind of highlight is the Issi Rally, a car that is for some reason in the SUV class, but will also be getting an HSW upgrade, which should be interesting for its class, considering that so far we only has the Astron Custom that is an HSW upgradable vehicle within that class. The car itself is coming in at a cool $1.83 million. Obviously that is without the HSW upgrades for those on the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. Customization wise, there isn't a heap of things here that are really standing out to me, but the car itself is already rather good looking. Inside performance, it seems a little understeery, and for some reason it seems to be a little tendency to do some rolling for some reason. Maybe that's just a one instance type of thing that was happening to me, but generally speaking, seems like an interesting car. Looking forward to see how it handles with HSW upgrades as well, considering that it will just skyrocket the performance in terms of acceleration and speed. And next up we have another vehicle that is literally straight out of Vice City, where once again you cannot convince me otherwise, which is the Broadway. A car that also comes of course with the taxi livery, coming in at a very small price of only its $925,000. Again, the performance of this car, as you might expect, is a classic car, doesn't go very fast. I kind of got Stafford vibes from this, but it seems to be a little bit quicker than the Stafford, so yeah, it might do halfway decent. It's definitely going to be quicker than the Eudora, but yeah, I don't see a heap of potential for this thing in terms of racing performance. It's a nice looking car though. It's definitely one of those cars that you drive for style. But the car you probably won't be driving solely for the sake of looks is definitely going to be the Virtue. One of the very few supercars within the game that is electric. It is pretty expensive, coming in close to $3 million for the buy it now price and a cool $2.2 million for the trade-in price, which just requires you to do a mission called Last Dose BDKD, which is one of the next batches. So I don't think we're going to be seeing this car until the very late future. In terms of customization, not a whole lot going on. The car has an active spoiler as well, so that's something worth keeping in mind. Obviously, if you put a normal spoiler on there, I believe it should hopefully kind of get rid of that active spoiler ability. Having said that, there has been a history of cars having active spoilers and then not actually working anymore if you put on a different spoiler, but I guess we'll have to wait and see for that one. In terms of performance, obviously it is an electric vehicle, so the acceleration is going to be very high. The top speed is going to be lacking a little bit, but the grip of it seems to be pretty decent as well. Especially because it's an electric vehicle, that spoiler should probably be out most of the time anyway, so I don't think you have to worry too much. But as for my overall thoughts on this, I'd say it's a pretty safe batch of cars. Nothing really stands out for me. I'm like, oh, I need to have this. I'm curious to see what some of the vehicles in this are going to do in terms of performance and that sort of stuff. But overall, it's okay. You know, it's a pretty safe batch. I would have liked to see some more wacky customization or just some more customization as a whole. Other than that, nothing really much else to add to it. If you enjoyed the video or found it useful, so leave a like to it, subscribe for more, and if you like what you see on the channel, become a member like Chloe, KFC Chicken, GTA Plus, Maddie, and Not Fatigue. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all later.
Hey, you just turned this into a bus!